Most people walk through life as if they are tourists in a city they didn't build. They complain about the weather, the noise, and the crumbling walls, forgetting one fundamental truth: you are not the tourist. You are the architect. In the year 2026, the world has become a sprawling slum of noise, a chaotic landscape where people live in structures built by the opinions of others. They sleep in rooms of fear and walk through hallways of social pressure. They wake up in houses they hate, built with the wood of compromise and the glass of vanity. But look at the ground beneath your feet. It is yours. It has always been yours. You have been living in a shack while holding the keys to a palace, simply because you were told that the shack was all you deserved. Every thought you entertain is a brick. Every habit you repeat is a pillar. If your life feels like a prison, it is because you designed it that way, one unconscious choice at a time. We build our prisons with the bricks of later and the mortar of maybe. We surround ourselves with the barbed wire of what people might think, creating a cage of our own making. But the beauty of being the architect is that you possess the ultimate power of destruction. To build a masterpiece, you must first become a master of demolition. You must take the heavy sledgehammer of truth and smash the walls of your past self. You must burn the blueprints of who the world told you to be, watching as the ashes of your old identity scatter in the wind of change. Do not fear the debris is the evidence of your courage. The first step to sovereignty is realizing that the ruins around you are not your fate, but your raw material. You cannot build a new world while clinging to the rotting wood of the old one. You must be willing to stand in the dust of your former life, coughing on the smoke of your burned excuses, and say, "Here, I begin." The crowd will watch the demolition and call it failure. They will see the dust and call it chaos. But the architect sees the space. The architect knows that before the cathedral can rise, the ground must be cleared of everything that is weak, everything that is false, and everything that is temporary. This is not a loss, it is a holy preparation for a greatness that the world cannot yet imagine. To build a destiny that stands the test of time, you must first clear the site. You must remove the debris of old excuses, the dust of past failures, and the thick, suffocating fog of digital distractions. A clean foundation is the only place where greatness can grow. Real architecture doesn't start with a hammer, it starts with a vision in the dark. It starts when you sit alone in a room, with no screens, no voices, and no lies. It starts when you dare to ask, if the world ended tomorrow, what would I have built within myself? Most people are afraid of that silence. They are afraid of the empty site because they don't know who they are without the noise. But for the architect, silence is the drawing board. It is the only place where the lines of truth can be drawn straight and true. The blueprint of your destiny is not drawn with ink, but with the very essence of your soul's deepest desires. Most people are building monuments to vanity, towers of ego that will crumble at the first sign of a storm. They build for the eyes of others, creating hollow shells that look grand but are empty inside. But the silent king, the architect of truth, builds underground first. He focuses on the foundations that no one will ever see. He builds character in the shadows. He builds resilience in the long nights of solitude. He builds a silence so thick and so heavy that no external chaos, no political storm, and no social madness can penetrate it. This is the stage where the world ignores you. They see an empty lot, but you see the cathedral. They see a man doing nothing, but you are calculating the weight of eternity and the stress points of your own spirit. You must understand that the most important parts of your structure are the ones that remain hidden. The strength of a skyscraper is not in its glass facade, but in the steel driven deep into the dark earth. Your values, your secrets, your private discipline, these are your deep earth pillars. In 2026, the world wants you to be all facade and no foundation. It wants you to be a digital ghost with no substance, drifting in the wind of trending topics. Resist this. Spend your time in the dark, carving the stones of your character with the chisel of focus. Let them wonder why you are so calm. Let them wonder how you stay upright when everyone else is falling. You are not just building a life, you are building a legacy that will survive the test of the coming years. Your quiet work in the shadows is the only thing that will remain when the lights of civilization flicker and fail. Look at your hands. They were made to create, not to stay folded in prayer for a miracle that will never come. The universe is not a wishing well, it is a construction site. It does not give you what you want, it gives you what you have the strength to build. If you want a fortress of peace, you must lay the stones of discipline every single morning, brick by heavy brick, even when your muscles scream for rest. There are no shortcuts in the architecture of the soul. You cannot outsource your growth. You cannot hire someone else to sweat for your wisdom. Each stone must be carried by you. Each drop of sweat is the payment for your future freedom. Every morning you wake up, you are faced with a choice: will you add a stone to your palace, or will you let the weeds of laziness reclaim your foundation? The architect builds even in the rain. The architect builds even when the world is asleep and the fire in the hearth has gone cold. Discipline is the scaffolding that holds your life together while the masterpiece is being formed. Without it, the vision is just a dream, and a dream without a plan is just a slow, quiet suicide. Every time you say no to a cheap distraction, you are strengthening a pillar. Every time you choose the hard path over the easy lie, you are polishing the marble of your character until it glows with an inner light. This is the labor of the gods, performed by mortal hands. It is the most difficult work a man can do, but it is also the only work that matters. Do not look for the finish line. Look at the stone in your hand. Mastery is not in the completion, it is in the consistency of the strike. Think of the great cathedrals of old. The men who laid the first stones knew they would never see the finished roof. They worked for a vision larger than their own lives. You must build yourself with that same ancient patience. Do not be discouraged by the slowness of the process. A tree that grows in a day is uprooted in a minute, but the oak that takes a century to reach the sky can withstand 1,000 storms. Your life is that oak. Your discipline is the roots reaching deep into the stone. Every hour of focused work, every resisted temptation, every moment of sustained will is another inch of growth. You are becoming a monument to human potential. You are proving that a man can be more than just a consumer, he can be a creator of his own destiny. Every structure will be tested. The winds of fate do not care about your intentions or your beautiful plans, they only care about your structural stability. When the storms of 2026 howl at your door, when the floods of doubt rise to your windows, and the lightning of betrayal strikes your roof, will your house stand? A life built on the sand of popularity and the shifting tides of social media will vanish in a heartbeat. A life built on the wood of temporary pleasure and the paper of other people's approval will burn in the first fire of crisis. But a life built on the granite of self-mastery is unshakable. It does not fear the storm, it welcomes it as a test of its own integrity. It stands as a beacon of order in a world that is obsessed with chaos. Destiny is not a destination you reach, it is a structure you inhabit every second of your existence. It is the way you breathe when everything is going wrong. It is the way you stand when everyone else is kneeling in fear. You are not building for the sunny days when everyone is your friend. You are building for the midnight of the soul, for the moments when you are alone and the shadows are closing in. You are building so that when the world outside is in ruins, there is one place left where order, beauty, and strength remain. That place is you. You are the cathedral in the wasteland. You are the lighthouse in the dark. You are the proof that even in the most broken age, a man can remain whole, solid, and sovereign. Understand this, the world will try to pull your building down. It hates anything that stands tall while everything else is crumbling. It will attack your foundation with whispers of doubt. It will try to rot your pillars with the poison of envy. But if you have built with truth, their efforts will be in vain. A fortress is not a place where you hide, it is a place from which you dominate. It is your base of operations for a life of impact. The more they attack, the more you refine your structure. Let the winds blow. Let the earth shake. The architect who has built his own soul does not look at the sky for mercy, he looks at his own walls with confidence. You are the master of the storm because you are the master of yourself. In the end, your life will be the only building you ever truly own. The money will be spent, the fame will fade into the static of history, and the bodies of our enemies and friends alike will return to the dust from which they came. But the architecture of your spirit, that is eternal. That is the only thing you take with you into the great unknown. Make it grand. Make it sarsılmaz. Make it a masterpiece that even time itself will respect and the stars will recognize. Do not leave this earth having lived in a shack of fear when you were born with the potential for a palace of wisdom. The tools are in your hands. The site is cleared. The sun is rising on a new day of creation, and the air is thick with the scent of possibility. Stop waiting for a sign from the heavens. Stop waiting for permission from the mediocre. The architect does not ask for permission to build, he simply lays the stone and let the result speak for itself. Take the hammer of will. Take the chisel of focus. And start. Build a life that reflects the height of the stars, not the depth of the mud. Build a destiny that will make the future generations stop and wonder how a single man, in an age of distractions, could stand so tall and so still against the weight of the world. Your masterpiece is waiting beneath the surface of your current life, like a statue waiting to be carved from the stone. The architecture of your destiny begins now, in this very moment of decision. As you walk away from this briefing, do not return to the tourists. Do not go back to the complainers in the crumbling city. Go to your site. Pick up your tools. The world needs architects more than ever. It needs men who know how to build something that lasts. It needs souls that are anchored in the deep stone of truth. Be that man. Be that structure. Let your life be the blueprint that others use to find their own way out of the ruins. The Duke is watching. The ancestors are waiting. The future is calling. Stay sharp. Stay focused. Stay unchained. Your destiny is under construction, and it shall be magnificent.